Hi guys, I'm Andy Myers from AM Fitness and this is FSM RX'D.
Hey guys, Stephen Kinsler here for FSM RX'D, and today I have Andy Myers from AM Fitness, and Andy is a movement specialist and is kind of, if you know about him already, you definitely know about his coffee and handstands on Saturdays. And he's kind of like, I've spent some time out in Andy's place, and for people that don't know, we actually used to play basketball together. Years ago, we both had hair and less facial hair and stuff like that. So Andy, cheers for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, pleasure.
So for people like you're in the last year, I think your name and your brand has really kind of come to fruition. I first heard about you from one of your former members who was working out here, and he called in, Pete, and he was telling me about this guy Andy and stuff like that, and I was checking you out online, and I was obviously stalking you a little bit to see like, is he worked as any grain of salt, and he was, and then I realised it was movement, and then we sent Dave out to you. But like, you've done, how long has AM Fitness been open now? How long have you been doing the movement? Like, how long have you been had AM Fitness, and you're training in that specific side of movement?
So AM Fitness itself is just over 5 years old. We've been in Terranure just over 2.5 years. And I suppose I switched from a typical personal trainer, bootcamp trainer, into a movement coach when I met Tony Riddle and Ben Miller, who were two coaches from London. They did a workshop in what's now Elite Fitness Performance Academy. That was three and a bit years ago. And that was kind of planted the seed for absolutely everything I do today. So the whole philosophy of everything we do, the seed was planted that weekend in that course. It was amazing.
What was the course? It was just a movement course?
The course was called the Fundamentals of Human Movement. So basically run, climb, crawl, swim, the whole shebangs, everything that a human should be able to do, defend, you name it, throw, catch, balance, coordinate, everything. It was based around those principles. Tony's stuff then went a bit deeper into human needs, so it's not just about the physical human animal, what you're doing, it's about stress response, it's relationships, emotions, the whole shebangs. So to say that was a mind-blowing workshop, going from a personal trainer who was sets and reps, and I always say this, and there's nothing wrong with sets and reps, obviously we use them as we do with linear training and all that sort of stuff, but just the shift of, it doesn't have to be chin up, actually you should be able to break it and you should be able to climb before you do chin ups. So if you got someone into your gym who was a climber, they would be able to do chin-ups. If you had someone training for chin-ups, they can't necessarily climb. Just the different carryovers of different types of movement complexity and what we're designed for. If you're talking about kids not being able to tumble, we were talking about a second ago. Just basic human stuff is like that definitely precedes training for training's sake, or just training to offset a stressful life. It's like you're a human first, you're a mover first, and a specialist afterwards.
And like, I think that lifestyle, again, we were talking about that, we always manage to talk about really good stuff off camera with guys on the show, but we were talking about like stuff that we're doing in January, but like lifestyle and mindset and being mindful and relationships, and it's a way of living. It's not like fitness was like, I go to the gym 3 times a week and I hit the machines and the treadmill, and now it's kind of branched off, and you can see the big response to like kind of the movement culture, and what you're doing at AM Fitness is growing, where people are going back to, I want to learn how to use this. I don't know how to use this. And as you were saying, like in FSM Kids, we have kids that come in and they don't understand squatting, and they don't understand what a tumble is, and trying to teach a child to tumble at 8 years of age is it shouldn't be. And we were explaining that you should be able to climb trees and fall and scrape your knee and jump and roll and grab and do all this stuff as kids that like I did, I'm sure you did, and everyone kind of our generation was. Now it's getting very kind of protective, and kids aren't allowed to go outside, and I know there's valid reasons for this, and you can play a climbing game on computer all you want, but like until you're, and that's so damaging long term, mentally and physically, to the human body. And for you like the people coming into your gym, they want that back.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's so funny. Like we're just the way the world has gone. We're pretty much in the rehab business. We're in the rehab and regression business. In that you need to rehab people's ability to move, ability to smile, have fun, de-stress. And one of the things I was only thinking about the last week is you literally have to rehab people's minds at this stage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody's actually phrased or coined that phrase. It's like you've things like Sarah and the Better Life Project and like, you know, yoga and Naomi Elements. Yoga is a good friend of mine. Everything is mindfulness, and we're thinking this. And Dara O'Boyle obviously talks a lot about that as well. Just like you're creating communities where doing mindfulness. You literally have to rehab people. Like it's quite sad. Like it's just acknowledging that, but it's not the worst thing in the world either, because we are the third place or the outlet for people to do that as well. So it's just interesting. It's an interesting shift in what fitness is. Yeah, it's become a necessity for people to escape life, and we're just sort of thinking that you can integrate more of life or more living into your life. Like, you know, you can make time to play, meditate, do things while moving that would be meditation, stuff like that. Like you can choose your practice. Yeah, it's just an interesting shift, and that's why our philosophy is built around people and community and just understanding stress levels and the whole shebang. And I couldn't imagine it being any other way. Yeah, like, you know, and by the same token, the person who is going into the bench press and the pec deck and all that sort of stuff, if that's what they need at that time and that's just an escape for whatever it may be, absolutely fine. I've been there, you've probably been there.
Yeah, definitely.
Years and years becoming this person, years to not be that person.
And it's a great, like, as you say, like mindfulness, and the way we're trying to, like, one of the good things is, like, people, not everyone wants to meditate. No, I do Headspace, and I love the Headspace app because it's just simple. It's 10 minutes and I'm done. Yeah. I've tried to do it along 30 minutes and stuff like that. Just always on apps. I've never actually sat in a room with someone trying to teach me it. Yeah. But yeah, I always get too distracted. My mind is not, and I know the mindfulness is allowing it to happen, not trying to control it. That's all, and stuff like that. But what I found is when I was talking to Hal Elrod, who's the Miracle Morning guy in his Lifesavers in the Morning, he was saying, listen, if you're not into meditation, you want to get up and just dance. Okay. Stick on 3-4 songs you know are going to make you kind of bop around the kitchen.
That's it.
You're happy leaving, going to work. You're relaxed. Your body's ready. You're feeling loose. You're feeling good about yourself. It's whatever makes you move, and if it's the bench press or it's Zumba or it's the bit play. Of course. Like, when was the last time? Like when we did with the guys from Ronan, CrossFit Ronan, we did the MoveNat seminar. Yeah. Okay. And he brought us out to a park, and there was a bunch of these 20. Well, I was in my 30s. I was there were a few younger guys there. Yeah. But we were climbing trees, and all these kids were like, "What are these L lads doing? Climbing trees and jumping on swings and doing all this." I mean, it's so much fun. Yeah. No, it was tough. Yeah. Course. But we were just doing what we would have done as we were younger, like just messing around and learning how to move our bodies again. And it was an amazing concept, and the movement culture that's been created. I know, like, the likes of I do have to mention, like, Conor McGregor was training Ido Portal. Ido Portal, like, I've known about him for quite some time now. I know you kind of, did you do a seminar with him?
Yeah, I traveled to Copenhagen probably 3 years ago, just under 3 years ago. Yeah. Before it kind of, well, a good bit before it kind of got popular and stuff like that.
So he's, like, obviously now he's exploded onto the scene because he's the guy to train with Conor McGregor movement. But this whole new using your body, and as you were saying, getting back to climbing and stuff like that, like, how do you find that's impacting yourself and your business? Do you find you're getting more influx into what you're doing? Or
not to skip past the mindfulness thing you were just talking about as well. You were talking about climbing trees and just moving your body and dancing, and I have this nice arm swing movement to do if I'm just between class and I want to just wake up. So it's movement, yes, but climbing a tree or balancing on a rail, it's what we call, I think Dan Edwards, the parkour lad, wrote a blog about it. He called mindfulness in motion. If you're balancing on a rail, you can put context into it. The rail could be 1 foot off the floor, it could be this high off the floor. This side of the floor is a bit of a fear element there, so you have to be extremely present about what you're doing, which is one of the things McGregor was doing with Ido, and I'd love it. It's one of my favourite practices. Yeah. If I was to choose mindfulness, I wouldn't go for a Headspace app. I could kind of kneel and just be still, but I'd much rather move. Yeah. And you have to be so present that you have to be very focused on what you're doing, and by the same token, like, your mind just goes elsewhere, and you get to think about a million different things. So the idea that mindfulness has to be and still and all that sort of stuff. No way. Go play, like you said. Play was the perfect word to use that. Your question was Ido and McGregor. So There's been no explosion for us because we're doing what we're doing regardless, and we always have been.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that people knew that we were doing what we were doing for so long, and
Yeah.
that we stuck by it when it wasn't sexy, when it wasn't known, when it became popular, and if it goes, we'll still be doing it because we believe in it. It's not just about movement.
Yeah.
It's the overall philosophy of looking after people. So no, and I don't know whether to expect a big influx on it either. We'll just be telling people what we do, and if they come, they come. And
Yeah.
you know, there's definitely more classes coming on, like more people want to be classified as movement coaches or doing Edo Portal style classes and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think it's also important to separate movement and movement coaches.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a movement coach, then you have to have a very extensive background, and at the risk of being bitchy about it, like, you know, you have to be able to dance, climb.
Yeah.
You lift weights, you name it. In any situation, if you're a mover, you need to be just,
Yeah.
oh, I'm here, it's okay, go move. You know,
And
and I think that's the biggest concern at the moment, is that it might get
Yeah.
diluted. And just go through the whole CrossFit trend of it's popular, it's getting bastardized, and then it's
Yeah.
gone again. So
And I think it will. It's because it's become
It's
it's a trend. It's
Yeah.
popularity, and it will become this. I've seen some stuff like, oh yeah, now guys are calisthenic coaches.
yeah.
You probably don't even understand the word and meaning of
Yeah.
calisthenics when you start going, oh yeah, I do bodyweight training
Yeah.
only, and it's just guys trying to jump on a bandwagon,
Of course.
and they haven't put the extensive training in, and
Yeah.
like it would be annoying. It's like when, I suppose, in CrossFit, when Olympic weightlifting got really annoyed
Yeah.
with CrossFitters snatching high bar. You can't do that, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And eventually kind of CrossFit was like, okay, well we can't, we actually can. It's
Yeah.
just we never did it before, but we can do it better than what
Yeah.
we're doing, and it's grown itself, and then there's still, and it's, I think, like, even when I first was out in your place and I made the statement that handstands are easy,
Yeah.
and my interpretation, when I coach it very easily, as in I just go get up against the wall.
Yeah.
What I meant was I don't really know that much about handstands. When I spent an hour and a half with you, I understood what was required
Yeah.
and how much I wasn't engaging, and for what I was doing, then to teach that back to my clients,
Mhm.
I potentially was running the risk of an injury.
Yeah.
Now I understand, right, we need to get the wall walk.
Yeah.
We need to get focused first, and we need to get everyone engaged and make sure everything's right, and stretch their lats and stretch everything, and
Yeah.
do all that. So for something that I would have considered very simple, is actually a very complex movement that needs to be taught in its stages.
Yeah.
Whereas people just say, all right, just up against the wall, let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
Right, you're up against the wall now, start lowering yourself and press yourself out and see what happens. And
Yeah.
you're putting so many unnecessary muscles under extra tension
Yeah.
because everything else is either too tight or inactive. So do you see, there was supposed to be a question with that. Do you find that when it comes to a lot of coaches kind of teaching, and like, I'm putting my hand up and I admit that this happened, I was walking in ever so slightly blind to movement and going, all right, I want to teach my guys handstands. Is that an annoyance to you, or are you finding that a lot of coaches just need to spend, if you're going to teach these movements, you should actually invest in them?
We did a movement for martial arts workshop last week. I think the 12th was before Conor McGregor, the day before the night of McGregor's fight.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of one CrossFit coach there, I think, and we were saying all this bits and bobs and about the mindfulness and the movement and the flow and hard days and soft days and all that. I was like, you have choices like everybody else has choices. If you want to teach handstands, invest your time in handstands, put it into your program. If you want to flow, make time to flow, prioritize flow, go flow for 3 months and go back to lifting afterwards. Spend time doing things that you actually believe in. So it's kind of just put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
I think we've all at some stage taught something that we weren't really proficient in. I think that's how you grow. You have to learn by doing that as well. There's areas where it could be disingenuous to teach something and pretend like you're the shit doing it. And then there's the other things like, this is kind of new to me, I'm feeling it out, but here's what I know so far.
Yeah.
Let's try this and see what we learn. That's why it helps to have a coach's training session sometimes.
Yeah.
Like everybody understands what we're doing and we're trying something new. But I think the only annoying part is if you're teaching people handstands, myself and Anthony and Vincent, two coaches in my place, we teach very straightforward, arms are this width, something like that. If you've taught something like the arms are this width and people start doing this, like you leave them and it's a video comes up on Instagram next week.
Yeah.
That's like, that is the most annoying thing in the world. because we would have gone into detail of explaining exactly why it
Why
goes
it's
here,
there,
etc.
yeah.
So handstands are a relatively linear process. For a complex skill, which is the skill in teaching, I suppose, is that you check mobility,
Yeah.
go through all the stages of alignment, can you hold against the wall, can you get closer, then you start balancing, etc.
Yeah.
So it's not the most complicated process in the world. The skill is just being able to teach the individual. So
I'm sure, like, if I was to, like, for Olympic weightlifting is something that I personally like to teach a lot.
Yeah.
Because when I see it, I can understand what someone's missing, and or they're just not activating right, or they're shifting their weight wrong.
Yeah.
But when I first started teaching Olympic lifting, again, it was I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know as much as I know now, and I know in 4 more years it'll be the same thing. And like yourself, in 4 more years you might have a different aspect on how you're coaching. And once, I suppose, your goal is not to hurt someone.
Yeah.
But if you have someone that's here, and you want to put them in a handstand, that's negligence, kind of thing. And I can see because I've seen it where guys are posting videos, or if a client posts a video of a movement, and I'm like, oh God, it's just horrendous. And then you have to go and explain to them, listen, like I had one girl who she posted a squat video on it one of the nights I wasn't here, and it was a good, like, she can squat and she's very good at squats, but she disengaged and just dropped. Okay. And she rounded and she got the squat, right? She got the lift, she lifted it, but it was ugly. And I said to her, listen, I said, it's on Instagram. Someone will see it, someone will report on it, and someone will just start slagging you off. I said, unfortunately, you don't know enough about this to offend yourself. Yeah. Because you didn't even know what went wrong. Yeah. And she goes, should I always check with you before I post something? So you don't have to always check with me, but just look at it yourself. Yeah. Is that nice? Because if it's not a nice movement, you have a lot of trolls. Yeah. And it's just obviously a bad thing. And I know, as you said, like, if you teach someone handstanding, they're on Instagram and their hands are out here, it's going, well, that's not what I taught you. Yeah. But then they're tagging that they were with you in a spot, and you're like, well, it's not what I teach. And I can see where that can get quite frustrating, but that's always going to happen.
Like you said, your teaching evolves as well. Like, so we don't teach the way we used to teach handstands last year. And that's it. But you're always giving the best you have, and you keep learning, you keep evolving, and that's the only way to go about it. I think it's grand, and that's a good sign. If you're not teaching the way you did last year, you're not doing the same things. I think that's a good sign.
Well, that's it.
You never want to stagnate.
Yeah, because everyone's like. Everyone, like, obviously as a coach you want to evolve what you do, and you want to become better, and you should always be striving, and there's no such thing as perfection. I don't believe there's a thing called perfection. I think there's the achievement of becoming better at what you do. And then one of the things that, again, I always refer back to is Dan John. He's the first person that will turn around and go, this is what I believed in. I don't believe in this as much anymore because I found a better thing. And I think I can do it better and get results quicker and keep you safer. Yeah. But what I was teaching then was not wrong. Yeah. It just wasn't as good as it's now become.
Not optimal.
Yeah. So, and I think that's always an ever engaging kind of thing. Like, I suppose if you went to another Ido Portal seminar in 2 years, he'd have more. He'd have different aspects for it and different kind of stages for it. Well, actually, how does it work for you guys? Like, is it a course for Ido? Is there levels, or is it just...
No, not at all. Jesus, I only went to Ido's once. It was incredibly impactful at the time. We've built a business one off the foundation Tony gave us. Like, the whole thing when we met Tony, Riddle and Ben was that they gave us the seed, and then within that workshop, like, one of their principles is just share, like, you know, everybody grows if you just don't be so afraid to pass on some knowledge or whatever. So they mentioned Ido. I was like, okay. Kept on with my thing, went home and got around to looking on YouTube. I was like, whoa. Shit, like, that's a human movement, but it's just up there. It's like, oh. So that just instantly struck, and then one of the workshop became available, and I knew they sold out in seconds, literally in seconds. So I was doing gymnastics at the time. I just emailed tried to get it. I had to go to gymnastics training the whole session. I was like, please don't sell it, please don't sell it, please don't sell it. I got back that night and managed to pay for it in time and stuff like that. So I got that. But that was just, it was a month off. I was in Copenhagen. Tony was there, and a couple of friends from Ireland. But I think what's important about it is my decision was not to keep chasing certifications. So once I realised that movement is for me, and I want to be a movement coach, and this just clicks, like, a certification in Bosu ball doesn't mean anything, you know, all this sort of stuff. So I went to Tom Wexler, travelled all these places, handstands with Yuval, travelled to Edo, travelled to Tony's a couple of times. So all these places, like a certification means nothing. Like genuinely, like I'm qualified to teach, I'm insured, all that stuff. Like it's just I don't need to have all the plaques on the walls and all this sort of stuff. It's much more about experiences for me, like, you know, and
definitely
it'll keep going that way, I think, until I need something, but I don't know what I need because I have all the experience and keep learning and stuff. So
I think that's definitely something we're going to bring back up. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back in part 2, and we're going to take back up on the likes of certifications and what you need in life, or as a trainer and your evolution as a trainer and growing a company. And then we're also going to touch on kind of the fundamental movements that Andy you would kind of want people to do, the average person to get back in their life, and then we'll go on from there. So guys, check us back. We'll be back in a few, and you'll see it in 2 weeks. Okay,
nice.
Cool. So that's one.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, head over to our YouTube channel, click the subscribe button, and you can get all the latest information from FSM, RX'D, and our Q&A show, Coffee Topics. Follow us on Instagram, where you can find the daily goings on of all our members, coaches, and athletes, and see what we're getting up to. And head over to Facebook, FSM Bray, give us a like and a share, leave a 5-star review, and you'll get all the latest information on our upcoming events and shows coming your way.